How's it going, gamers? Chongo here, and today I've got a gameplay commentary for you guys. The gameplay is of Battlefield 4 on the PC, and today's commentary topic is about bugs in video games, so let's get into it. Now, the reason I wanted to do this video is I saw a fellow YouTuber make a video on it called VerticalSprite. You guys should definitely go and check out his video, as well as subscribe to his channel. He makes some really good videos, and basically, it's sort of, I wanted to take it a little bit further. So technically, this is a video response sort of thing, but since YouTube took that away, it won't really be, but yeah. So it's taking on the topic of his video, where he basically said, there's a lot of games coming out nowadays that still have bugs and they're fixed in patches, and it's sort of just accepted that games will have problems. And he was more along the lines of, can we get a refund for, games that do have bugs in them, and where would that, go from there. So I thought that was quite interesting to see someone looking at it like that, since technically when you buy a game you expect it to work, and if you have games like Batman Arkham Origins where they stuff up, or Battlefield multiplayer for example, when it crashes to desktop and all that kind of stuff, it's not really working as it is intended to. So as most of you may know, I did do a review of Battlefield 4 and I thought it was a good game. However, the bugs sort of stuff it up, and it is quite annoying when the game freezes or crashes or anything like that. And I've been playing Batman Arkham Origins on PC as well. I haven't ran into as many bugs as I have with Battlefield in that game, but there are still a few there, and also even GTA to an extent, where online was sort of bugged, and even single player where like you bought this car and you did it up and then you couldn't really find it ever again, it just disappeared into nothing. So it's quite annoying when bugs like this come into play. And is it fine? That's like kind of the question I'm asking. Should this still be in games nowadays, or should games be postponed a month for these kind of issues to be fixed up, or should they just be released and patched when they can be? So it seems like since everyone's using the internet nowadays, that they just seem to accept the fact that there's going to be problems and they're going to be patched in later. But in the past, this wasn't the case. Obviously, when there wasn't as much internet or anything like that, games wouldn't be able to be patched. Once a game, there was a problem with it, that was it. There was a problem with that game. So therefore, they kind of, worked on it more, made sure it was completely fine and all that kind of stuff. Whereas now, it seems like publishers are more likely to push developers' games out sooner, even if there is small problems, because they can be fixed in a couple of weeks on a patch. And should we really be putting up with this? Because it kind of feels every single time you're playing a game that's released that has bugs, that you're playing the beta and they'll fix it up and it'll be fine in a month or two. Now, the area in video games that actually is meant to go around and fix up all these bugs is called quality assurance, and basically they go through and try and find all these bugs in their games, and their whole job is pretty much just to sit down, play a game for 8 hours a day, find any problems that you can, try and do the most weirdest things to see if you can break the game. Now, I don't really think that you should just go and get mad at these people for, letting bugs through on Battlefield or letting anything like that, because there are only a few people. That's the thing. This is like smaller than 1% of the people who are going to go and play this game. So you can't really, just blame a small amount of people who are trying to find all the bugs, but they're not necessarily going to find them all. But there are some more game-breaking bugs that you kind of think how they got past. For example, with Battlefield freezing and crashing to desktop, it's kind of worrying that something like that could get through. Maybe EA wanted to push this game out before Call of Duty Ghosts, which doesn't make much sense considering Call of Duty Ghosts wasn't really as well received as Black Ops 2 or any previous CODs, and it was kind of seen before it happened. But it just seems like, most people seem to not even really care if there is bugs in their game, because, just looking back on it, I don't think there's any way that when they launched Battlefield 4, they thought, this game is completely fixed and it will need no more patches. It's just a given that there is going to be problems with it, as well as they probably knew there were some there, but they didn't want to delay the release at all. But I'm not sure how many people would want to wait an extra couple of weeks to have a game completely bug-free, or those that would rather have it right now and have to deal with the bugs. And I suppose we're moving more towards a point where people are starting to realize that bugs are a serious problem and they're starting to get quite annoying. So maybe people will decide not to pre-order games and not to buy games on release and wait, 2 to 3 weeks before they decide to pick up a game, because I can tell in maybe a week or two, maybe Battlefield 4 should be fine online. Yes, there'll be a few problems, but hopefully they'll fix the crash to desktop and all those kind of crashing issues, which I no longer get in Battlefield 3 or anything like that from now on. So it seems like they're going to go back and fix that up, which is good, but it seems like I could have probably just waited a week or two, picked it up, and my experience probably would have been better with this game, as opposed to having to deal with all these issues when I go to try and play multiplayer. With all that being said, I'm doing an IT degree, and I've built programs and software in groups of people and tried to, go through and test it and find all these bugs, and it is really hard to find all the bugs in your software, and you may think everything's fine and release it and then just go, oh crap, we've got a problem in it. And this is only just small applications that I've made. This is nothing compared to like a massive open world game where you can walk around everywhere and do whatever you want. But I think at this point, when games are going to be released, they're always going to have bugs, but hopefully they can improve on how bad the bugs are, because if it's a small little bug, it's not really a problem, but if it's a game breaking bug or anything that crashes you to desktop, obviously that's something that you would rather fix. Anyway, this brings me to my commentary on bugs in fully released games. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a like, and if you've got any comments about bugs, whether you think that there should be more time spent on testing or whether you're fine to still keep dealing with them, put it down below. And if you want to join the Gamerhood, just subscribe. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time.